This is one of the craziest OTAs that I have seen in a while. Sometimes they can be just really small changes that don't have a big impact. This time around, I think some cards have had some serious changes, and you can see all of the affected cards right here. Now, if you just want to jump in, check what's up with the OTA and then dip out, there you go. There's all the changes. If you want to stick around, I'm going to make this real quick. I'm thinking 30 seconds to a minute on each card. And we're just going to give some first thoughts when I saw this and some cards I think that are going to be affected, if these cards are murdered, if they're going to stay alive. Let's find out as we proceed to the very first card that I want to talk about, because these changes are just wild. America Chavez. So this is actually one of the more tame changes. America Chavez going from a 2-3 to a 1-2. I actually think this is great, but still not the same old America Chavez that we used to know and love. Will she be better? Absolutely. Being a 1-drop, a lot more flexible, kind of filling that forge spot, right? So forge, you know, he went up to being a 2-cost now, and he was giving me +2 power to the next card you play. This is giving +2 power to the next card in your deck. Is it going to work with Howard and Kazar maybe, and all these sorts of things? Maybe she'll find a way to be pretty good. I think she was already okay, so I'm here for this change, but I don't think it's a big deal. Okay, next one is Swordmaster. This is another small change. I have it just random, so I don't even know what's going to pop up, but Swordmaster, let's go. I did not have this on my bingo card, but I'm happy to see it because I really like Swordmaster, the character, the variants, just, you know, being a really good statted body and discarding a card should be good. But it just hasn't really found a place. There's just better options usually to put in your deck. But now you just have a lot of power output. And if your deck happens to want cards to be discarded, well, it's probably going to be a pretty sweet deal to try out Swordmaster. Or maybe there's some crazy discard Silver Surfer list out there. I don't know. We'll find out. I don't think so. I don't think this is going to change Swordmaster much, but it's going to make it a little bit more fun to play. Okay, the next one is Lockjaw. Man, this is the one. This one is crazy, man. Okay, so Lockjaw going from 3-2 to 4-5. A lot of people are already speculating about this. And I gotta say, I don't think it's all that bad. I think he's gonna be just fine. The dog is here to stay. 5 power is legit, so he can stand on his own. He still has all those amazing synergies. And, you know, you can play like a Wasp on turn 4, flip something out, and then on turn 5, you flip something, and turn 6, you flip something. And if you got like 3 flips with the Lockjaw cycle, you're going to be just fine. It's probably playing into your deck strategy. Not to mention, we could discount this now with Zabu, so this could be a 3-5 when it was previously a 3-2 in the right conditions. So I don't know if there's going to be a deck brewing like that, but I don't think this is going to affect Lockjaw's win rate or play rate significantly. And I could actually foresee potentially a future nerf to bring him to like 4-4. I think the 5 power might be stretching it just a little bit, because this is still a crazy effect. The cheating, the power output here is still just wild. So very interesting change. I'm in the middle with this one. Okay, next up, Adam Warlock. This one, man, this change. We got to talk about this one real quick, because I think this is a nerf, which is crazy. So Glenn went ahead and told us that this card, Adam Warlock, had the worst win rate for several months, possibly up to a year. Just like, even all the data we have on all these websites tend to show like different cards. He was saying it was like worse than Agatha, and Agatha is typically meant to be like one of the worst win rate cards in the game. So Adam Warlock was underperforming. Maybe you had some secret sauce out there that was working for you. Sweet, but statistically, this card was not working. It was terrible. So they made him a 5-4. Dude, why would I want Adam Warlock to be a 5-4? I can't wrap my head around this. Yeah, card draw, great. Get an extra card on turn 6, fantastic. But I would look at all the other 5-drops, man. I would much rather Iron Man doubling the power at a location. I would much rather even like Spider-Woman dishing out negative power and having a good power swing. Arrow, you name it. That's just a few cards. You could pretty much pick anyone. Devil Dino, the list goes on. And I just don't see why I would just rather another draw on turn 6, another option on turn 6 to play another card for a big turn 5 setup. Like, I'd rather just play something good on 5 and then work with what I got on turn 6. And maybe there's magic limbo. Yeah, you extend the game and you try to draw some extra cards. Not to mention, you still need to be winning the location. So you might not be winning the location. You might not get a draw. This is a 5-4. Trash. This is not going to change him at all. He's still going to be one of the worst cards. That's my prediction. Okay, next is Darkhawk. Okay, what is going on with this card, man? This is crazy, right? So one thing that's kind of interesting, at least, I think, is Darkhawk was notoriously like gatekeeped at Series 4, if you will. They were dropping him. People expected it. This was months ago when series drops were a little bit more routine, a little bit more regular. Anyhow, he's been Series 4 forever, and now he's not nearly as good. So it doesn't look so bad, the optics of it anyhow, because now he's a 5/4. Yes, he does get that 4 power off the body, which is like having 2 rocks thrown into the deck, like a rock slide effect or something like that, right? And the same effect, plus 2 power. But being a 5 cost is severe for a card like this, because not only does it not work with Zabu anymore, which was like his #1 partner, right? Zabu on turn 2, and then you could Darkhawk on 3, or you can play rock slide later, whatever. It was great. And then you can copy it with Mystique. Those combos are a lot slower now. It's not going to be as quick. And not to mention, this card is competing with a lot of other ongoing, growing 5 costs. I'm looking at like Devil Dino. Why would I want to play Darkhawk where I have to rely on what my opponent has on their deck? I have to play into that rather than Devil Dino where I can just like, keep a lot of cards in my hand and probably build a deck that wants to do that anyways. I feel like it's going to be a lot easier to pull off a higher power total with Devil Dino than it would be Darkhawk. Now, of course, there's different strategies, different decks, so I think it's fine for them to coexist in the game. I just don't think that this is going to hold nearly as good as a win rate as it used to be, or as of an auto include card. That package that you see so many times when a new card comes out, they're like, oh, this card is great in this deck, but then you look at the deck and it's like Darkhawk, Rockslide, Korg. It's like, well, is the new card all that great, or is it just because this combination of cards is consistently so good when it's packaged together in various decks? So now I don't think it has that power. I don't think it has that like meta-defining strength that it once did. So I'm interested to see where it goes. A little disappointed. He was a really fun card. And interestingly enough, with Adam Warlock and Darkhawk being changed, at Mr. Negative decks are kind of taking a hit here because those were 2, reasonably good cards for that list. So it's kind of interesting. Next up is Forge going 1/1, 2/2. We've already kind of seen this. Like, it wasn't Forge like way back. Was he not this stat line? Or he was like I think he was a 2/1 giving plus 2 power. Now he's a 2/2 giving plus 2 power. He wasn't all that great then. He was much better as a 1-drop. I think it's going to hurt him and maybe destroy lists a little bit being paired with Deadpool. But other than that, I don't know. He's still all right. I'm sure his play rate will go down a bit, but I feel like his win rate and cube rate will kind of stay the same. But not too much to talk about there. We've seen this guy get changed around so many times. Then you got Antman. So this one's pretty interesting, and I'm honestly quite excited about it. Antman being a 1/1 giving plus 3 power, it had the potential to get to 4 power, right? A 1/4, that was really good. You had to fill the location. There's things that could disrupt that, like not just mention like ongoing counters, as well as just destroy counters, possibly getting rid of the cards there to make it not full. Then he's 1/1. Not so great. Now he's going to give you 4 power. He's going to go to 1/5. That's kind of crazy. Cerebro 5 possibly, maybe. But anyways, like, I don't know. I think that's a lot of power output for a condition that you're probably trying to meet, and it can be countered. I think it's a healthy card. I think it's gonna be a little bit more fun to play with. Some of the 1-drops, we keep going back to the same 1-drops because only a few really stand out, and I think this is going to help Antman make a case for being in a few decks, especially those ongoing Spectrum decks, man. Antman, sign me up. That seems so fun. And lastly, I think this is lastly, Vulture. And this is crazy. So I once talked about Havoc having like the craziest scaling, and people told me, well, what about Vulture? He's got +5. And I was like, how did I miss that? Vulture's probably one of my favorite move cards because he doesn't get destroyed like Torch does from Killmonger. Dagger wasn't very good until, recently. Now she's definitely a lot better. So I always kind of relied on Vulture to move him around, and it always felt great. You get like that +5, you move him twice, +10, he's a 13 power card. Now we move him twice, you're getting 12, you're going to 15. Dude, come on. You move Vulture once, you got a 3/9 on your hands. This is excellent stats in a deck that wants to move cards, that has the ability to move a lot of cards pretty much at will. You literally play this on curve and then you just play Heimdall later on, and it's crazy value. I do not understand how move decks are not popping off with all these buffs they keep getting. It's crazy. I've always had good success with move decks. Maybe it's because they're complicated. Maybe it's because of location variants. Maybe it's because of counters. It could be all of those things put together. But we're getting to a point where the power output is so substantial that I feel like move has got to make it up to the top of the meta. I don't know. Check out Malt's YouTube channel. He's like the move king. he knows what's up. But there you go. Those are the changes for this OTA. I hope you enjoyed them. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. I might stream later today because this seems sick, and I'm thinking I want to take out Vulture for a spin. Let's go. And maybe see how Darkhawk's doing. And Adam Warlock, man, poor guy. He never had a chance, and I think he just got worse, but maybe that's a hot take. I don't even know. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, everybody. I'll catch you guys next time.